Hello, hello, beautiful, beautiful people. Welcome to Motivational Monday Healing with me, Paula, grief guru, international award winning author, and lots and lots of other stuff. Okay, today on Motivational Monday Healing, I want to talk about part two of saving your relationship with your children after a death. Now, last week in part one, I talked about how important it is to have that relationship with your children. And I showed a couple of ways to use in a writing exercises, but more importantly, it was all about having honest conversations, having those honest questions, and using writing as a tool that you're both going to use. And you're both going to have those check-ins, those regular check-ins. Now, if you haven't seen part one and you want to access that, then let me know and I can send you the link for last week's event. This week's event is at the same time, 4 p.m. UK time, and it's in my private group for women. If you want to access it, then by all means let me know and I can invite you into the group. This week, I am going to be talking about practical ways that you can use to bridge that gap between you and your children after a death. So whether that is the death of another child and they are dealing with that death from a sibling energy and you are dealing with that death from a parent energy. And like I spoke about last week, sometimes the energies clash. They don't mesh anymore because you're coming at the same grief but from different angles, from different feelings, different thoughts, different behaviors. And so sometimes the gap widens, and if you don't deal with it, then it becomes a void, and that void is really, really difficult to bridge again. So I'm trying to help you before it becomes this big black void. Let's try and bring in these beautiful relationships back to family so that you have that with your children. That is my message today. It's about making sure that you are looking after your children as well as yourself. Now, I always use this where the oxygen mask in the plane. You have to put your own oxygen mask on first and then look after everybody else. It's the same with grief. You have to be in a very good, stable, or as stable as you can be point before you can even contemplate looking after anybody else. Another good one that I use that was told to me by my supervisor many, many years ago, that grief is like flu. When you've got serious flu, it's very, very difficult to get out of bed and look after the family. It's impossible. You know, it's. So someone said to me once that if you know that they've got serious flu, is if you put a £50 note at the end of the bed and they can't even reach it. They haven't got the energy to get up. It's the same with grief. It takes away all your energy. It depletes everything within you. Every single thing is an effort. So when you're a parent, you have other children and they are grieving the sibling, or they are grieving a grandparent, or they're grieving another parent. It is extremely difficult for you as the adult to look after them, to try and find ways to look after them, as well as making sure that you are as high vibrational as you can, to make sure you are healing, to make sure you are being gentle and kind with yourself, because that is just as important. And I will keep saying this, you are just as important as the person who died. Your children are just as important as the person who died, if not more so. They need you more than the person who died. And that doesn't mean that you need to diminish your grief for the child or the parent or the grandparent who died. But the reality is this, and I deal with reality and I deal with honesty. They have died. It's a tragedy, it's a sadness, it's a terrible thing that has happened, but that's the truth of it. They don't need you anymore. The people who are left behind do. The children who were left behind do. So this week on Wednesday, 4 p.m. UK time, I'm going to be showing you practical ways to bridge that gap between you and your children who are left behind. And if you need replay, by all means, let me know. #replay in the comments, and I can send you the link once I've finished. Okay, so how does that sound? All right, you have a fabulous week, and I'm here if you need me. With so much love.